Right, so here we have an engine. This particular one I rebuilt, rebuilt the bottom end. So all I had was the bare block, the split crank, obviously, like the girdle, crankshaft, and then he supplied rods and pistons and rings and things. I didn't have pump or the little cover that, the baffle plate. I didn't have the sump, didn't have the head, anything that bolts onto it. It's purely just like a very bottom end rebuild. It was bored out to the correct clearance for the pistons. So basically he's put this in his car. He's built up the rest of the engine, obviously, put this in his car. So it's the standard, I'll show you, it's the oil cooler system that's standard on the car. It's the coolant into the oil sort of cooler set up around there onto the standard filter, so that's all good. So no oil cooler to cause a problem. So he put the oil in the car, and then he said that he took out the plugs, he disconnected the injectors, disconnected the crank sensor. I think he said he disconnected another sensor so it could crank freely. I mean, once you've got the plugs and the coils off, or coil plug lines or plugs out, she's all good, but I don't, cranked it over till he had 40 something PSI, he said, of pressure. Seems a bit high, I just need to check what that is in bar. But nonetheless, he cranked it over to there. He started the engine, he had 88 PSI of pressure, he said, I think he had. Yeah, so 88 PSI. He was, it's got running in oil on it. It should have this oil in it, which doesn't actually give a viscosity, but he said he had 1040 oil in it. It was up at about 1500 RPM, started first time, up about 1500 RPM, and they didn't really hear any noises, but then as the RPM started to come down, they heard a dong, 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 like bottom end rattle. So basically, we're gonna pull this engine apart and see what's happened, because, it's interesting. Obviously, it's only run, initially he said it had run to 2-3 minutes. Then he said it had run for 3 to 4 minutes. So, I mean, 4 minutes is a long time to having its knocking. So I don't quite understand why it was so high for so long. Yeah, I'm not sure about that one yet. Yeah, so we'll get in there, see what's going on. I'm going to get it onto the engine stand. Obviously, I'm not going to take the head off and stuff like that unless I absolutely need to. But we need to find out what's gone wrong. So a lot of the time, people don't do the priming situation, and then the engine has time to basically, have a failure. But he's obviously went into quite a bit of description with it, telling me that he took the crank sensor off and stuff like that. But nonetheless, hopefully, it's savable. I'm going to pull the oil out of it and just see. I just want to say, that is a lot of Loctite. Alright, here we are. I haven't obviously opened it up yet. I've got the build sheet here. So this is just the build sheet for the bottom end. And I don't know whether you're going to be able to see or not, maybe I'll zoom in. But I've just had a look at the clearances. So when obviously I measure the clearance, I know you can measure it, and I do measure it, but I also plastic gauge, because that confirms to me that what I've measured is correct and I haven't made a little mistake or looked at the wrong number or something crazy. So I always plastic gauge every engine. So if I just zoom in, see if I can zoom in enough. Oh, maybe you can, Yeah, you can see. So this is big end clearances, obviously measured versus pasta gauged. So actual measured is point, what's that? 1.8 thou, and then pasta gauge. Yeah, so just under 2 thou, and obviously they basically match. Hold on, where is it? Actual, yeah. So that one actually measured out to be, and that's me guessing, obviously, a plastic gauge slip, which I'll show you. That, so obviously when you're doing 2 thou, you know, you're saying, oh, it's you know, somewhere between, you sort of can measure between the two and work out what the difference is roughly. So I'll just measure between the two. And I've got the small ends as well. Sorry, not small ends. So that's the main journals, that's the big ends. They're all there. So yeah, full build sheet, and the fact that it's been plastic gauged pretty much confirms that the clearances are correct. So I'm not sure what we're going to see. So that is some very dark oil for 4 minutes of running. Yeah, so that is very dark oil indeed. Very interesting. So you can get, I did have some proper assembly grease from Driven, which seems to be the go-to now, but I use General Assembly lube on things like, cams. I mean, I also use this on cams and things like that, or in the oil pump, although I normally fill them with some sort of grease-based lubricant, but I also use this as well. And I find that this stuff is actually really good. It's quite a thick grease basically, and that really does a nice job in keeping the bearings absolutely perfect. They've got some crud everywhere. So I've actually loaded it up on the computer now. Obviously I save all this stuff, and you can basically scroll through and see everything, but I've got a photo as well where the one just there doesn't have. So can confirm that it's the correct block. It's finally stopped draining, so we'll put the sun plug back in, and I'll collect this oil up. I've got a brand new container for it. It is very black. Right, so we have got, let me see if I can zoom right in, bear with me. I've got a few contaminants, I can't zoom in more, I don't think. Can I? Oh yeah, there. A few contaminants there. So we'll, basically I'm just going to get them out and have a good look at them. There is some rubbish in there, but I'm going to continue to let that drain. As I say, there's dust filtration right up there, and there's filters and stuff. So we don't really get a lot of dust in here. Obviously I'm creating dust, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab one of these little things and then have a look in an eyeglass, and if it's worth referencing, I'll put it under the camera. I've got a like 100x zoom camera for like ring end inspection to see if they're butted and things like that. Obviously I do a few bits for insurance companies and stuff. Okay, well I'm not sure where I stopped it, but basically that is that tiny, if I can, that tiny little flake there is that. So that's what he's got in his engine oil, which is what these little flakes, oh gosh, if we can zoom, so all these little flakes are that. I don't know what that is. Alright, well I forgot to hit record, so we're doing it from here. I'm just going to just cleaned out this again, because I'm just going to try and catch the rest of the oil. We had a little spillage out of the oil return, so I want to just make sure I can catch the rest of the oil that does come out. It just amazes me, like, it's filthy. Look at all that sludge. Why would you put that? Why wouldn't you clean this stuff off? Absolutely insane. The bolts are filthy. Bolt missing. Look at the state of the front cover. Put one of them back in. I just can't believe how dirty this engine is. Oh, another one missing. Oh, another one missing. Yeah, something's not right. It does look like there's material in there. Although it didn't come out. It doesn't look like metal though. What is that? Well, I can't tell, but it just looks like shit. Like as in material, so just gonna have a quick look. Obviously I'll try and show you in a second. That looks mint. That looks okay. Is all that? It's like silicone, rocker cover. Alright. I think this is just some super dirty build. So you can see down there, hopefully, if I can just get it away enough, let me see. So that's a bit of rocker cover. That's a bit of huge silicone, like, look at it. See if I can get this thing to focus. Come on, baby. Look at that. That's a huge bit of silicone. We've got more of this crud. Look at it. It's absolute crud everywhere, and that's not engine particles. That's just shit. Let's see if I can zoom you out a bit. This piece off, if I can get it stuck to the tungsten. Look at it. Look at this. Oh. Right, so just look at that. Right, let's plug in. Let's plug in the old should have left it plugged in, Wally. Right. There we go. Gosh. You can tell there's not much room in here. It's that hard, crusty grit. Right, let me see if I can. You got to bear in mind this is very hard to do. Right, that bit's sticking out, that's why. Right, so same crystalline structure, whatever that is everywhere in here. My bad. So yeah, I mean it's sitting on top of the pump. Obviously you've got, look at it, look at all that crap. I mean obviously I have no idea what the problem is yet, but this is probably the dirtiest build I have ever seen in my life. It's most likely because nothing's been cleaned. Like it's just been, because I don't know what cylinder head this is from, but obviously the previous engine had a failure. Let me just take the power out, hopefully that won't turn it off. No, good. We'll see if we can get in there and have a little look at some of this junk that's right in this corner. Right, I mean, look at the state of it. And none of that's metal. Not a single bit of that is metal. There's lots of paint. My gosh, what is going to be wrong with this engine? You guarantee it's got nothing to do with any of this. Right, let me zoom out. So, I don't know if we'll go to 0.5. No, I can't zoom right out, but what I'm going to do is, I'm going to put you high up here, and I'm just going to have to pick this out because it's a bit too hard to see. So, I more want a shovel than anything else. So I'm assuming that's a bit of rocker cover because it's grey. Yeah, that's a bit of rocker cover. Obviously it's on the wrong side, so it's grey on the base. Yeah, there we go, bit of rocker cover. Oi, that's another bit of rocker cover. Are we going to get it? What a sad position for an engine to be in. Look at that. Right. I mean, shit me. Do you know what I mean? When you've got all this in your sump, like, oh, let's have a look. See if I can get you in on there with some actual focusing would be blinding. There we go. Right, none of that's metal. Like, I don't understand why the oil's so dirty, but this is, oh, fuck off. I don't know what it is, but it's not metal. It's just not metal. It's, I mean, if it fucking focus, hold on, let me just, no, it can't be too zoomed in, surely. But that's like rocker cover. Gasket. Like, it's just, it's more gasket, like. We got rubber gasket, some weird snot, looks like almost like rag material, rocker cover paint, and then like all these little bits, but I don't, like I say, I don't know if any of this is metal or if that's, let's have a look. No, that's nothing there. Is that, so you can see that there, hopefully. It was probably a bit of a blur, but it's, I don't know if it's metal or if it's gasket. Yeah, so there's a bit more rocker cover there. Looks like a bit more rocker cover there. I just don't think there was any time taken. It's really strange why you'd go to all this effort. And I don't know if these are metal bits. I mean, there's not a lot. If there's metal, it's not a lot. It's generally just absolute, that's a bit of black silicon. All right. I don't really know what to suggest past that. I suppose now I'll just swip the engine over. Ah, you pissed a little bit of freeze on the floor. That's it, you stay in that tray, Mother Hubbard. Right. Looks like new chain tensioners, new guides, and this is a new 4p oil pump, I believe. Although I can't see 4p on it. Oh yeah, no. Oh no, I left the dipstick in. Let me just check the top of that. What's his name? It's just... No material. So it's catch in the pan. 4 different places. So that'd be why. Let's just fucking check. I'll be able to turn this over. Fuck's sake, man. All of this. Right, so I've just had a call with a customer to let him know the good news. Well, I don't know if it's good news or bad news, but I won't be charging him for taking it apart. Just because, well, you know, obviously I've told him about all the filth inside, which, you know, I mean, come on. So yeah, it's so this is actually all the damage from the previous explosion that happened in the engine. But you can see here, that's a fresh mark, and there's 2 fresh marks there where it's rubbing. And if you have a look on the, oh gosh, let me see if I can get a better video for this. So, and obviously, so this is as I had the engine. That wasn't dropped off, the sump wasn't dropped off, the pump wasn't dropped off, nothing else. I just had the bare block, the split crank, obviously, or crankcase, the rods in a box, the pistons in a box, the crank, I think that was in a bag or something. But yeah, so I didn't have it to check it. So yeah, let me show you here. Let's see if we can get some. See if we can get this. It just doesn't want to focus. Let me see if I can do it like that. So you can see there. Can you see there? Yeah, I mean it's been touching. It's been rubbing ever so slightly. Let me see if I can zoom out a bit, get a bit more clarity on it. Can we? And the other one is this one over here, but I can't see any marks on there, but I can definitely see that mark there. Obviously that's not any damage in any way, shape or form. Yeah, you can see it a bit better there. It's just been cleaned up. And it's just going to punch that plate out. Very little damage. I don't know if it's a bolt as well. I'd have to have a look, like when it goes on, but I don't really want to get involved. I believe that's what it is. Everything else feels fine. There doesn't feel like there's any excessive, but sorry about this. The compression. That's actually quite far away on this end, which means, oh, actually no, I'll take that back. It's not the bolt. Yeah, as I say, I'm not charging the customer, although I think everyone else would, and I'm well within my rights to, because he's bolted this on. I only need to, oh, can't do it like that. Let's do it like that. I only need to push down a bit on that. Still recording? We are. Oh. And now it's hitting. So it's, yeah, it's now hitting that. And that is quite considerable. So there we have it. Fortunately, no issues my end. Customers really getting away lightly in terms of charges, because obviously I need to inspect this engine fully. You don't just rip something apart. So I have had to take stages, as you've seen, to check things, look under microscopes, take my time. So yes, it's just taking the sump off, but is it? There's a lot involved here. We're filtering oil, we're checking the sump, we're microscoping things, we're having a good deep dive, because you don't know if that was going to be the problem. All you know is that there is a knocking noise from the bottom end. That's it. And you've got to do these stages, and this is the difference, and this is why I've done it for insurance companies, because it's a step-by-step process. It's not just rip it off and then have a look. It's take your time, each stage, take this off, inspect, take this off, inspect. And then you get to find the potential problem. Yeah, it's something easy, like a sump, a crank or a rod hitting a baffle plate, but all adds up, man. Right, so no more time being spent on this. Throw your comments in, because this was an interesting one, and everybody wants to blame the engine builder or tuner, and honestly, 99% of the time, assuming you've gone somewhere that's at least remotely good, you know, and even self-taught tuners, self-taught engine builders, do you know what I mean? They can still do a job well. But some of this proves that, yeah, you know what I'm saying. But, I don't know, man, I don't want to moan, but if you can't throw an engine together without doing some checks like this, you know, you put that baffle on, why wouldn't you rotate the engine once, just to make sure that everything's good? And how is it that dirty in the sump? Like, and then you want to go and make like 600 horsepower on it? I don't know, man.